Hey everyone, it's Nicole. I hope that you guys had a great first week. Thank you so much for all the wonderful introductions. It is always just so much fun getting to know you and learn a little bit about your background, your goals, your lifestyles. It's just a fun way to feel more connected in the classroom. And you can continue to go back there if you remember someone that you read about at the beginning that triggers something that you think of later in the session. It's totally fine to continue those conversations throughout the session. A couple of housekeeping items. I posted an announcement a few days ago that the marketing department has initiated a digital marketing certification program, and that information is now live on the UMGC website. So you can find the announcement under the announcements, but you can also go directly to our marketing lounge within the classroom. You can read an article about its initiation and also go directly to the website so you can learn more about the opportunities that you have there. So I remembered that several of you mentioned some interest in that in your introductions, and I think it would be fantastic if you just maybe carve out a few minutes to look through it and see if there's anything that applies to you and that maybe if you haven't thought of before is something that you'd like to explore now. So I wanted to put that out there because it is something that the marketing department here has been working hard on, and the new director has taken under his wing to really launch. So we're all excited about that, and there's new faculty there that they've brought on with specific experience in that department. I think it would be a wealth of knowledge if it's something you're interested in. So without spending too much time on that, because all the information is available, I kind of want to move on to last couple of housekeeping things, and then we'll talk a little bit about the content for this week. So last week was the first deliverable item, which was your discussions, and I'll be grading those over the next few days. I want to remind you that because we have shifted the allocation and distribution of weight for your scores in the course to allow you more time to focus on each individual deliverable item and in each given week, that we do expect there to be some substantial referencing resources and thought put into your discussions. That's not applicable to everyone, and many of you did a fantastic job, but maybe if you weren't thinking about that last week as you began those discussions, I'll mention it to you in the scoring so that you know a little bit more about what I'm looking for. But I wanted to mention it here so that in week 3, when we have another discussion, you are ready to just take off on that and get the maximum credit possible, which is my goal for all of you as we learn through this session. So I want you to get credit for all the work that you put in. And let's see. So this week you'll have a written assignment, and you'll find that in the content. But if you don't go through the module content to the assignment, you can also just look under the assignments tab, and it will be there. So the first written assignment is this week, and I believe there are 4 items that are in the assignment as prompts for discussion, and I'll be grading those the following week when you're doing your week 3 discussion. So that's it for housekeeping. So the content this week is about CRM and the focus on the customer. And the first article that you'll read really talks about, and it was part of our discussion in the first week about, when George was, identifying how to best service his customer. Some of you mentioned the importance of the relationship, and others mentioned the importance of the technology and how that relationship within itself manifests in a CRM program. And the IT department really obviously focuses on the digital component, and you kind of get a feel for how IT firms really apply their knowledge to best servicing a company, because most often, larger corporations will have their own CRM program, their own IT department, but very oftentimes, especially with smaller business, that is an outsourced component of their business structure, and they will have vendors to supply their CRM program. And there are hundreds of those vendors, and they each offer something a little different depending on what the needs are of the business. So, for those of you, it's an older book, but something that I've always referred back to, even from when I was a child, Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he suggests that you begin with the end in mind. So really understanding what your goals are for the CRM program will help drive the decisions that you make about which technology to bring in, which programs you want to enforce, and then how to activate those within the company. So I think it's really always important to start out with what are your goals for the CRM program and how eventually will you measure the success of the program against those goals. So the other articles will talk about, like I said, how we balance the technology versus the relationships in CRM. How do we address fairness in CRM? We don't want to feel so removed through the data analysis that we, place more value on one customer over another in a very detached way instead of in a relational way. Now, obviously, there are going to be toxic customers. There are going to be situations where customer lifetime value does play into how you apply loyalty programs and so forth. However, you want to always have the perception and the position in the marketplace that you are approaching these systems fairly, and that customers perceive fairness when they are patrons at your business. So, and then what are the risks that arise when you don't have communication lines available within your business? So let's say in absence of a CRM program, could you still function? Of course you can. Can you be competitive? What are some of the risks that you take on if the CRM program doesn't exist? And how does that look in application? What are some of the things that might happen in the absence of a CRM program? And is it enough to motivate a company to implement a CRM program if they can see the benefits of it? Is it worth the investment? So that's kind of where we're going to go this week. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Email me if you have any concerns. I'll be on the discussion board. I enjoy interacting with everybody and learning from you. There were some great responses to your peers last week. I love to see the discussion grow and kind of move along on its own and evolve. So if you feel the need, and I will also have the marketing lounge open where I posted the articles for the digital program. I will also be there this week for interaction and posting. If you see something that happens in the news or something that happens within your organization that you want to share that applies to either our written assignment or the course content, please feel free to do so. It's not a closed discussion board. It's just that there isn't anything that will be graded this week so that you can really focus your time on developing a strong, well-written assignment. Okay, so have a great week too, and I will see you on the discussion board.